Good morning everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. It is Sunday the 22nd of January 2023 and today I'm heading up to Wearside for the one I've been waiting for. It is the Wear Tees derby. It is Sunderland versus Middlesbrough in the Championship. Now both fan bases are adamant that it's not a derby and they don't care about each other. Personally, I'll believe that when I see it. But all the same, it is a massive game in the race for the Championship playoff positions. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let's head on up to Wearside. So here I'm in Sunderland, just heading down to the stadium now, more towards the city centre. There's already quite a few police around, there's a lot of fans around already, so the atmosphere is really building up around these parts. And going into this game this afternoon, Sunderland currently find themselves in 12th place in the Championship table, and I'd say they need to win this game today, otherwise they're at risk of being sort of massively, well, I wouldn't say massively, but being cut adrift a little bit of the rest of the teams looking to get into the playoffs. I think if it was to be a draw today, I think that would probably suit Borough better. And speaking of Borough, they're currently in 5th place in the Championship table, and if they win, they can actually go up to 3rd, which is a position I don't think anyone expected them to be in at this stage, especially with the way they started. But you've got to give a lot of credit to Michael Carrick, who's come in and really turned things around. And I fancy Borough to be in the playoffs come the end of the season. Whether they'll win them or not is a different story. But I think for me as a neutral going into this game and looking ahead to the rest of the season, I would quite like it if both Sunderland and Borough were in the playoffs and ended up playing each other. I just think it'd be massive for football in the northeast as a whole. As I mentioned earlier, both of these fan bases seem adamant that this isn't a derby. I mean, granted, with Sunderland especially, there's more of a thing with Newcastle, and I've seen Newcastle play Borough, I've seen Newcastle play Sunderland. I mean, granted, I was 10 at the time, but from my experiences of those games, I can tell you that when Newcastle played Borough, it was absolutely not on the same level as when Newcastle played against Sunderland. The Newcastle Sunderland thing, that is just a raging hatred of each other. But I think a lot of the talk around is this particular game a derby? Is it not a derby? I think a lot of it is down to I think that both fan bases, in many ways, just can't really bear the thought of losing to the other. So I think it's going to be a good atmosphere in there today. There was a lot of Borough fans already at Borough train station when I left there this morning. Still a couple of hours or so to go until kick-off. Meant to be meeting with a couple of other YouTubers in a little bit. You may recognise them. One is Blair McNally, who does a lot of videos up in Scotland. He covers sort of all aspects of the Scottish game, which is great to see, and he's doing really well for himself. And another is another YouTuber that's doing well for himself, and it is Robbie Holmes, who sort of focuses a bit more on football over in the northwest, but they're both over here for this game today, so looking forward to all being well meeting up with them. But if I don't, I will see you in the Stadium of Light to find out how it all unfolds.
Okay, so I'm sure you know who I'm with already, but in case you don't, just introduce yourself for us. so my name's Robbie Holmes. That's where you can find me on YouTube as well. I do football vlogs all around the northwest. I've come over to the northeast today for this huge game, and yeah, really looking forward to it. If you just type in Robbie Holmes on YouTube, I'm sure my channel will come up, and go give it a subscribe.
Okay, once Robbie has uploaded his video for this game today, I will post the link for that in my description, and yeah, you can check out his version of events. You're up in the gods a little bit today, but right next to the Middlesbrough fans who have travelled up here in good numbers. Are you expecting a good atmosphere from them? Have you seen Borough play before?
Yes, so I've seen Borough a couple of times. I saw them at Blackpool and the fans were really loud then, and then I saw them at Burnley, but they weren't as good that day. But I'm hoping, you know, notoriously they've got a great away following Middlesbrough, and with this being a sort of local derby, as I'm sure you've explained, I think it'll be that added sort of needle to the game that the fans need to really get going from both the away end, and hopefully to get some good home atmosphere as well.
Okay, I'm also away. Have seen Sunderland a couple of times. Is this the first time you've been to the Stadium of Light, or have you been here previously?
Yes, I've never been to the Stadium of Light before. First visit here. I've seen Sunderland a couple of times. I think maybe just once on the channel at Blackburn. So I've seen them as away support, great away support. But yeah, first time here at the Stadium of Light. So looking forward to getting in and watching the game.
Okay, so aside from all the local bragging rights and etc. that are at stake, how do you see this game going this afternoon? Because of course it is a big game in the hunt for those playoff places in the Championship.
But well, Middlesbrough, they've been completely revitalised under Michael Carrick. I think they're in the playoff spots at the moment. Sunderland sort of just outside, so it's a huge game for them. I could see Middlesbrough edging this one maybe 2-1, but I think it's going to be a tight game.
Okay, we'll hold you to that. I mean, personally, I think I've said in yours, I think I fancy Sunderland to edge it because they're the ones that maybe need the win and they're at home. But Robbie, thank you very much. It's been nice to chat. Right, so again, I'm sure you already know who I'm with, but in case you don't, just introduce yourself for us.
Blair McNally, I'm here all the way down from Glasgow, and what a game I've chosen. Sunderland, I'm back, and by the way, this is going to be a cracker.
Okay, so this is your first experience of a derby between any of the North East clubs, is that right?
First time I've been at Stadium of Light in a good while anyway, so I'm looking forward to getting in. I'm in the rocker today, so it should be a cracker. You've seen it last night with the pyro show for the Middlesbrough fans. You've seen it with the build-up at Sunderland. This is no ordinary game, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it.
Okay, when Blair's uploaded his video, I will leave the link to it in the description, as obviously I'm going to do with Robbie as well. But going to this game this afternoon, it's a big game. Aside from all the bragging rights, etc., it's a big game in the hunt for those playoff spots in the Championship. How do you see it going this afternoon?
This is a big game because in the last month both teams have flipped. Sunderland were in the playoffs and Middlesbrough were lacking. Carrick, we all know what he possesses in his brain with playing with such a big team, Man United, and it's starting to show now with Middlesbrough. Sunderland, they need to pick it up. Obviously last week, very poor result. Look, O'Neill misses out today. It's going to be a tough one, but they've got a full team. We've already seen it this season. We've seen that we can do. Amad Diallo, what a player they possess. Amad Diallo, when he turns up, we've all seen it. So you can hear the atmosphere. I'm going 2-1 Sunderland today.
So great to chat to Robbie and Blair. As you've seen there, two great guys that obviously love the football, and I think we're all in agreement that it's going to be a very close game today. Obviously Robbie's gone for a 2-1 Borough, Blair's gone for a 2-1 Sunderland, I've gone for a 1-0 Sunderland. But now it's time for all the talking to stop, and it's time to head in to the Stadium of Light. So Sunderland are just there warming up, of course going to be in the red and white this afternoon. Still no sign of Borough just yet, but I'm sure they'll be out soon enough. Now the Borough are out to warm up, and it looks as though they're going to be in a bluish, I want to say, away strip. So yeah, now it's time to shut up and get on with the football.
save. Reception Sunderland's
should have got it on target at least. Oh, good save. Best chance Borough have had so far. Half-time, Sunderland 0, Middlesbrough 0. It's been a very edgy game, as games like this often are, but really Sunderland ought to be ahead with some of the chances that they've had. That one especially early on, where the keeper's completely misplaced his pass, then he's just gone clean through. He needs to be getting it on target at the very least. I mean, if the keeper pulls off a really good save, the keeper pulls off a really good save, but yeah, it's dragged it too far wide. As for Borough, you can tell the pressure isn't really on them this afternoon, and the draw would be the better result. They have had much more of a relaxed approach, but I think Sunderland maybe need to up their intensity levels a little bit and really get at Borough in the second half, but at the same time just make sure they're aware of the threat of the counter-attack, because Borough, the way they've gone about it, as I said, much more relaxed approach, but they do look like they could nick something at any given second, so it's going to be an interesting second half. I'd like to show us in a box, but it was. But Borough could be going down to 10 men. Get it on! Sunderland really have to take initiative now. What a start to the second half. Big moment in the game and in Sunderland's season. Sunderland go 2-0 up, and that's game over. Some Borough fans have had enough. Half one can't see them getting back into this game now, so can you really blame them? They've really not shown up this afternoon. In fact, they've been really poor, in my opinion, Middlesbrough.
Your magnificent support. There will be a minimum of 5 minutes added time. 5 minutes added time.
There you go, don't even need to do that today. Sunderland are just going through the motions now, the fans doing the all-A's.
Let's hear for the lads in red and white this afternoon. Come on! Thank you for your support today. Our next home game will be on Saturday the 11th.
Full-time Sunderland 2, Middlesbrough 0. Both teams got what they deserved this afternoon. Sunderland knew that they needed the win and went all out to get it, and in the end there can be absolutely no complaints about that, but I must say I'm really surprised at just how poor Middlesbrough were this afternoon. They offered very little going forward, and I think they maybe sat off Sunderland a bit too much, really. I know, like, if they'd have got away from there with a draw, it would have been a fairly decent result for them, but once the red card happened, there was only ever going to be one outcome from there. I mean, initially I thought that the foul was made outside of the box, but it's a goal scoring opportunity, so the law of the game is that the referee had to send the guy off, and from there the initial penalty was saved, but then the rebound's gone in, and Sunderland were totally in control from there, and wraps it up with about 10 minutes or so left of the game. So a big win for Sunderland this afternoon, who I don't think they've gone back into the playoffs, but they've certainly moved that bit closer to them. As for Borough, they need a response in the next game. They need to just try and forget about this as quickly as they possibly can, then just make sure that they go again, because Michael Carrick is still doing an excellent job, and I do still back them to be in the playoffs come the end of the season, but yeah, that was not good from them at all today. But what it means for me now, though, is that I've seen the Tyne Tees derby, the Tyne Weir derby, and now the Weir Tees derby. All I need to do now is see Sunderland play Newcastle at the Stadium of Light and Borough play both of them at the Riverside. Then I've got the full box set, so it's going to be an interesting end to the Championship season. As I said, hopefully both will be in the playoffs and we'll end up facing each other. Then we can do this all again in May on a much bigger scale. But that is that for this video, and I'll be back on Tuesday night with Gateshead versus Wrexham. A massive game at both ends of the National League table, but looking forward to just being back watching the heat again. But until then, take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.